Venu is the new sports streaming service likely to drain your bank account. The Republican National Committee lost its legal challenge to Gmail. And a Manhattan Project nuclear weapon site is being turned into a giant solar farm. It's Friday, August 2nd, and this is Engadget News. ESPN, Fox, and Warner Bros. Discovery announced in February that they would jointly launch a sports-focused streaming service, and yesterday they shared some pertinent details. Subscriptions to the Venu service will cost $43 a month. The platform will have 3 broad categories of content: live games and events, on-demand sports programming, and talk content such as studio shows. Venu will launch at an unspecified time this fall. The linear networks included in Venu are ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, SECN, ACCN, ESPN News, ABC, Fox, FS1, FS2, BTN, TNT, TBS, truTV, and ESPN+. Viewers will have access to lots of major events across the world of athletics: the World Series of Major League Baseball, the 4 Grand Slams of tennis, the Stanley Cup Finals for the National Hockey League, and a widespread of college athletics will all be represented in Venu's programming. When people sign up at the launch price, that monthly cost will be locked in for 12 months. And considering how often we see prices going up in the streaming landscape, it's safe to assume that $43 will not be the fee indefinitely. Watching sports is a fragmented and expensive activity today. Different leagues might have media rights deals with multiple different networks and streaming platforms, meaning fans have to check carefully where to find their favorite teams each night. Having so many providers together under one umbrella would streamline the experience, especially for people who like to follow multiple sports. But the joint effort has drawn criticism. Fubo TV filed a lawsuit after the initial announcement, claiming the new streaming package would violate antitrust practices. A federal judge dismissed a case brought by the Republican National Committee against Google over its Gmail service. The suit alleged that Google's email platform labeled GOP fundraising emails as spam at a higher rate than those from the other side of the aisle. District Court Judge Daniel Calabretta from the Eastern California District Court dismissed the case with prejudice, preventing the Republican Party from bringing its case against Google back to court. The dismissal with prejudice means it cannot bring the case to another court, but can still file an appeal to Calabretta's decision. Calabretta wrote in his dismissal order that the RNC failed to state a claim under any legislative policy or prove there was sufficient harm to users of Gmail. Thursday's ruling marks the second case that the RNC has lost over allegations of unfair filtering by Gmail. The RNC filed a lawsuit in the same court in 2022, seeking damages from Google for donations it allegedly lost as a result of labeling fundraising emails as spam. Calabretta called the lawsuit a close case, but ultimately ruled that the RNC failed to plausibly allege its claims that Google's spam filtering was committed in bad faith. The U.S. Department of Energy recently announced plans to turn land that previously housed aspects of the Manhattan Project into a 1-gigawatt solar farm. The Manhattan Project was a top-secret and successful effort to develop nuclear weapons during the 40s. This particular renovation is being conducted in Washington state at the former home of the Hanford Nuclear Testing Facility, otherwise known as Site W. This site housed the world's first full-scale plutonium production reactor. Plutonium made at this location was used in the very first atomic bomb and the Fat Man bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki, Japan. The location certainly is intriguing, but so is the Transformation Project. This 580-square-mile section of semi-arid desert could end up housing the largest solar project in the country, if built to the announced capacity. This record currently belongs to the Edwards Sanborn Solar and Energy Storage Project in California, which generates 875 megawatts of solar power. The DOE has teamed up with Hecate Energy to repurpose the 8,000-acre site. This is part of the Biden-Harris administration's Clean Up to Clean Energy initiative that launched last year. This program is tasked with repurposing DOE-owned land for clean energy generation. This program has already added around 90 gigawatts of solar capacity to the grid, which is enough to power 13 million homes. This isn't quite a done deal yet. The two sides still have to negotiate for a realty agreement, and the government could cancel these negotiations at any time. Thanks for listening. There's more to these stories and additional articles at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from contributors Anna Washenko, Danny Gallagher, and Lawrence Bonk, and was voiced and produced by me, Steve White, for Spoken Layer. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll be back on Monday with more tech news from Engadget.